for me, U.S. soccer was a wonderful experience, to lead that program for more than 5 years, bring them to Brazil, to the World Cup, coming out of the group of death, then to play a Copa America Centenario where we finish up in the Final Four, which is amazing. And you experience this region here, which is the CONCACAF region, so the Central and North and Caribbean region. So you learn from every place you travel to. You learn from Honduras, Guatemala, Costa Rica, Mexico. So it's a tremendous learning curve, but at the end of the day, you always measure a national team program on the global stage. So you measure yourself with South America and with Europe, first of all, because that's where the top nations in the world are. So this type of a competition was for me always fascinating.
Now, you're on an upward trajectory. You talked about getting out of the group of death in what was Brazil. You talk about the Copa America, 4th place finish. You talk about, your first win in El Azteca. All these great things happen, and then we go on to the qualification process, that is 2018. What went wrong?
Well, what went wrong, I was not in charge anymore, so obviously when you don't qualify for a World Cup, a lot of things went wrong. I think the biggest challenge for the United States or even Mexico or Costa Rica, so for the key countries in this region, is you don't really have the highest competition outside. That means, when you play just within your own system, you don't have the big matches against European countries or South American countries in order to grow your program, in order to grow your players. So literally, when you are kind of locked in within CONCACAF, and you don't play Argentina, Brazil, Colombia, and Chile every year, or you don't play Holland, Germany, England, Spain, Italy every year, you have no chance to grow. And that's what I always said. You have to leave this region here in order to make your program better, to improve your players. And this is a big, big handicap for all the players and all the programs, if it's Mexico, Costa Rica, or the United States.
So right now in CONCACAF, there's going to be the Nations League. You're telling me that's going to hurt teams like Mexico and the U.S.?
Oh, it's a waste of time, I'm telling you. It's a waste of time because you need, as a country that, talking about Mexico, everybody is hoping for the 5th game in the World Cup. You're not reaching that 5th game in the World Cup if you play the teams you're playing now in the Nations League in CONCACAF. You're not, because you need to play Argentina, Brazil, Germany, Holland, and England. That's your competition. And when you have an opening for a national team window, and you can maybe make 1 or 2 friendly games, you need to play Argentina or Germany and not a CONCACAF team. So within that system that was created here, it's almost impossible for the United States or Mexico to get better. And that's why Mexico just lost against Argentina 4-0, or they lost 3 years ago against Chile with a higher result, or we ended up in a Copa America Centenario to get our lesson from Argentina as well. You need to always play up whenever you can. So your players need to play in the best leagues in the world, which are in Europe. As many as possible, which we are very proud of. A lot of them now playing in the Bundesliga, or Christian Pulisic playing in the Premier League. This is super exciting. And the same with the Mexican best players. They play in Europe. It doesn't matter where they're playing now. Lozano plays at Napoli, and Chicharito plays there, and so on. So the challenge for a coach is always, how do I get my players to play the highest level possible for them? And if not, then you always have these setbacks.
Now, Bruce Arena had his new book come out. Did you get a chance to read it?
No.
Well, in his book, there's a little quote where he says that 6 months before you were let go, he was already talking with Sunil Gulati and Dan Flynn of U.S. Soccer about replacing you. Did you know that?
I knew that, yeah. So, it doesn't really matter, who at the end of the day leads the program. I think the most important thing is whatever job you are given, you got to get the job done. Unfortunately, it didn't happen now. They didn't qualify for the World Cup in Russia, which is very, very sad, obviously. I think the bigger picture in this whole thing is how can you improve the region by itself, meaning for Mexico or Costa Rica or for the United States, how could they end up possibly in a Final Four in a World Cup? Because that should be the goal, especially for Mexico, which is completely soccer crazy driven. But when you just stay within that region, you're not going to reach those goals. And I think that is now some questions that they have to ask themselves. Are they going for the sake of making money, or are they going for the sake of making the team the best team possible in order to finish up finish off in a World Cup in the best 4 one day.
You're telling me right now one of the main problems with the U.S. soccer system is that they prioritize finances over sporting results.
Well, I would say so, yeah. I mean, because if you are trying to figure out a way, to play, I would say the United States, Mexico, Costa Rica, they should play every Copa America possible in order to learn from the South American teams. Every window that should be given for a friendly game should be a window that playing European teams or again the top teams in South America. But there might be not the financial kind of benefit to it, when you travel to Italy or to Holland or to Germany or to England, then playing a home game in the United States with the, I don't know, whatever revenues are coming in. So at the end of the day, it's very, very difficult to make your players better when they don't have the highest competition possible.
Now, have you gotten a chance to see this current U.S. men's national team? And
Yeah.
if you have, can you give me your overall impressions of this U.S. men's national team under Greg Berhalter?
Well, I think it's an exciting group of players emerging, in the United States. Look at Tyler Adams. Look at obviously with Christian Pulisic. We know it now already since a couple of years. You have several players now. Josh Sargent. They come out of the Tab Ramos under-20 group over the last few years, who has done tremendously well with the under-20. So when you have an under-20 national team that now 3 times went in the final 8 of a World Cup, that means that you have quality. You have quality young players. So now you got to feed those young players into their next stage of their careers. So now you have a midfield with Weston McKennie, with Tyler Adams, with Christian Pulisic, with Josh Sargent up front. They promise a lot of quality. Of younger players coming through, and they're trying their best. In whatever leagues that they're playing. So there is some potential there. Now, in order to prepare that group of players then for a next World Cup, this is a bigger picture discussion that you need to have, because they need the best competition available.
I'm part of that 1982 age group. I'm 37 years old right now. I'm dating myself. But Landon Donovan, Kyle Beckerman, Guchan Weyu, DeMarcus Beasley, that went on in their U20 age group and did a very good tournament. But what's happened in youth development in the United States that since then it's almost stifled?
Well, that's a longer discussion, obviously, to have. The wish is always there that when you have younger players emerge at the age of 18, 19, 20, that they get playing times, in the professional teams. This is always the biggest wish you have. And I think for that reason, the Bundesliga is a really nice place to be, because the German coaches or the coaches or the clubs themselves, they fill themselves with pride, to give younger players a chance to come through. They give younger players also a chance to make mistakes. So you can fail here and there. You have to actually fail sometimes in order to grow. And here sometimes is still a culture in the United States where they often think, okay, they have to go 4 years to college before you actually become a rookie. But you're already at 22 and you were considered a rookie, where in Europe with 22 you're already an established player. So sometimes here the look at young players is very different to Europe. In Europe it's all about quality. If you're good, you play. Doesn't matter if you're 18 or 19 or 20. Here, okay, first of all, you go maybe through college first, and then, or if you're not going through college, then you're still very young, so we play you here and there. I think things are changing now. There's a new generation of coaches out there as well. They give younger players earlier a chance. So let's hope that these younger players are given the chance to prove themselves.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.